Keep the mindset of when you are communicating to influence to your people or your customers or whoever it might be, think of the communication experience that you're going to create with them in whatever time you have to get across whatever information to move them to some point. The reason that we talk about creating an experience for people is this. We want to move from information to influence in our communications. That's our bias at Decker. It should be everybody's bias, we feel. But the problem is we are taught in the education realm passively, we're taught that the way you do it is from kindergarten on. You're sitting and a teacher lectures at you at the intellect. It's content to us passively sitting. So what we want to do is move from passive to active. You do that with questions, you do that with exercise, you do that with fill in the blanks. However you can get people active, and they will be then involved. But how do you move people from the intellectual, head-only side, words and text only, to the emotional side? Because that's the most critical to your memorability, and if you have people involved and memorable, you will be motivating them to use the information that you have. So how do you do that? Well, we have a way to do it. I'm going to just suggest briefly to you this. It's called the SHARP principle. SHARPs are an acronym for stories. We have lost our ability as business people to tell stories. And it is one of the most powerful tools. There's another great book just out, Rising Fast, that some of you might have heard of. It's called Made to Stick. How many have heard of Made to Stick? Just for my own curiosity, because I'm going to do an article on this briefly. Anybody heard of Made to Stick? Okay, nobody. Good. It's an excellent book because it takes what Malcolm Gladwell talked about, the tipping point, sticky ideas, and gives their 6 principles, the success principles, for making a sticky idea. Stories is the most important. It's the beginning of their success acronym that they use. But this is very powerful because all of the ideas in this book have to do with making your ideas stickier whenever you're trying to influence. And the SHARP principles do exactly the same thing. So this is a way to amplify some of the SHARP principles. The first is stories. The second, I'm not going to go into a lot of detail, but I want to mention them and show how you can use them. The second is humor. We had a great example of humor this morning. When Lee started out, and he had not a dry presentation, but he had a lot of facts and figures there, but he started out with his bottle. And what did that do? Connected everybody. Not only did we have a laugh, we love to connect with people. And it was a perfect use of that SHARP principle. We don't recommend telling jokes. It doesn't work. A lot of people say, well, tell a joke and you warm up an audience. Open with a joke. The problem with that is it's like that earlier commercial on Judge Quickly. They tell a joke, falls flat, people nod, groan, and it doesn't connect with anything. That's not what I'm talking about. I'm talking about humanization, having a light touch, being part of the human comedy. See, I have a problem with this one because I'm not very funny. That's why I use video clips. I don't smile a lot. That's why I remind myself at times like this to smile. Look at the difference. You know, when I just think of, boy, Bert, don't take your stuff so seriously and just open up. Just feel the difference if you can see my face with just a smile. That's part of humor. It's part of humanization. And, you know, we didn't have a lot of laughs, but we had a few. Thank you. For those that laugh, you know, whenever I get any, I want to milk them because that's not my strong suit. But I'll tell you, if I just pound on you with these ideas, that perhaps now and then you feel like, without some relief, without some humor, without some humanization, you're not going to connect. And I know that. They're not going to be sticky. So that's humor. And Nancy gave us another one. She loves analogies and metaphors, and had a great one that she thought of either going to bed or waking up. I'm not sure which. But analogies and metaphors are terrific tools for connecting concepts, dry concepts or ideas, to a known idea. And they make ideas sticky. And they're much easier than we think. We suffer in business from PowerPoint abuse. Now let me ask you a question. How many of you use black slides? Just a show of hands. Okay, that's 3 hands. Let me ask you this. When I say how many use black slides, how many of you want to ask, what's a black slide? Show of hands. Okay. That's what I usually find. Because not very many people use black slides. We recommend using black slides. This is a black slide. Nothing's on the screen. And there's a key reason for that. The reason you want to use black slides is threefold. The first is you want to be able to clear the screen. I'm going to use black slides up there for a minute. It's very simple. It's just a concept. It's a key word. So that's okay to use on a PowerPoint. But you want to be able, if I was going on to another subject and went into that subject, left that up there, your eye would be going to that at least a half dozen times in a minute, just because it's there, even if it's a company logo. But if you use a black slide, your attention is going to be here. Keep this in mind. You're creating an experience. It's not your information. It is the experience of you delivering information to get people to a point. You want the attention on you at all times. And you use PowerPoints as a supplement. And the second, so you want to clear the slide so you have the idea off the screen. The second thing is most conference rooms, meeting rooms, board rooms are set up very inappropriately. They're set up by professional designers so that the projector's in the center and the screen is right here. And the problem is you can't then, if you have PowerPoint after PowerPoint, you can't walk in front of it. Just as here, a little bit ago, I walked in front of the attention screen. And that was the first time I walked in front of the slide, right? Some of you thought, you didn't think this consciously perhaps, but I said, that's not very skillful. But right now I'm walking in front of the screen, which I couldn't do if I had a PowerPoint here, because it's a black slide. A black slide is literally a slide with a black background. And those are two reasons why you should use black slides, but they're not the most important. The most important is actually revolutionary in our sense of the word in presentations. The third key reason to use black slides is the mindset about presenting ideas in a business setting. Because what we tend to do is we go to the PowerPoints and we make our presentations on the PowerPoints, and then the PowerPoints become our presentations. If you are delivering a deck in hand or in a situation where they demand a deck, then it's a deck and that's a written proposal. You don't use black slide. Whenever, and this is 80–90% of the time, you are actually presenting an idea to a group. You want black slides because you want the attention on you, and you don't want to just make your PowerPoints because then it becomes a basically written and read presentation, and it's not as skillful when you use your notes. Reading off this, you've all been in rooms, and probably in the last couple of days, where somebody's using the notes as the PowerPoint is their notes. And didn't you say, perhaps unconsciously, gosh, we don't need you, I can read those just as well. And it's not very effective. So it's a mindset. You are your presentation. You use in our case, we train people using the Decker grid, but you can, however you put together your ideas, put them together, and we use Post-its, but anything that you use to figure out, okay, this is the outline, this is what I want to accomplish. Now I will go to PowerPoints to supplement the information, not to be the information. And we're in a business culture that is not very effective because 95% of the time we go to the PowerPoints to make our presentations, losing sight of the fact that we are our presentations, our confidence, our energy, and as leaders particularly, our ability to influence other people.